Good. How's it going?
I don't know how it could be much better. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. I had a bit of a religious experience on my couch earlier today, but
I'm 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 intrigued.
your background looks a lot better than mine, though.
Yeah, and I'm happy to report that this is not one of those like virtual backgrounds. I am down in the beautiful Dominican Republic at the Excellence Punta Cana. There's 8 of us here. The weather has been absolutely beautiful, and full hat tip to iOS updates. I don't necessarily know if you could use your phone or iPad as a webcam for a long time. I'm pretty sure this is a kind of a recent update, and it is in the nick of time. So I'm super excited to be able to join you guys. Literally doing this from my hotel room on an iPad right now. So I got to say, I'm super impressed. It's also the first time I've actually been looking at the camera. I feel like I should just do it from my iPad all the time at this point.
Oh no, I'm definitely jealous of that view, and I'm definitely jealous of that Presidente you are sipping right now.
Yeah, I was tossed up between the Presidente or the Heineken to start this. So I think I'll start with the Presidente.
Nice. Okay, well, let's get right into it. Right off the bat, like for me, like bravo of an episode and finale. Like, what a way to tie up everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think there's an obvious place to start, and it's Marv. And
hold on, I want to go back one. Did you notice the title of this episode? They call it the series finale. So is that it?
No, the title was it?
It says in Disney Plus series finale, not season.
No, it's called Rix Road. Rix Road is the title of the episode. It's the season finale. Yeah.
Oh, is it season?
Season finale.
Oh, I thought it said series finale when I'm looking at Disney Plus. I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Your earbuds are staticking a little bit.
Oh, are they? Sorry, I've got the sound of a pool behind me, so you might be hearing that.
So it was hypothesized on our last live stream. People thought that Marv was alive, right? You didn't see the body. You didn't really see. You didn't get that emotional send off for her for what was an important character for Andor. She is in fact dead and made into a brick, but she definitely had a hell of a way to go out. And the writers on the show in charge of writing these monologues are like, this is like what, the 4th or 5th standout one now. Like,
yeah,
her when that hologram went on and she came up, I knew exactly where it was going. This was her like call to arms, like resistance, rebellion movement. Even though it came in passing, she still got her chance to make a difference, right? That's what she wanted to do. And like, I couldn't help it. Like, it was a very emotional speech because not only are you hearing her give out her heart, simultaneously you're seeing, all the people in Ferrix, like they're feeling it. Then they're panning over to the empire as they're talking about you're being repressed. It's a disease that's not going away. They're here to stay. And you can see them tightening their grip on their weapons, right? Like not knowing like this powder keg's about to go. And then you get, your shots of Cassian moving around and all the key characters. It was just, just beautifully done, which then kicks off everything into an absolute chaotic frenzy.
Yeah. And you and I look at these moments different. And this has probably been, of all the series of stuff that we've done, I feel like this has been our best because we've been able to look at something and appreciate it from kind of 2 different angles and give different perspectives. Like I look at that speech and that theme of, but I was asleep. And she calls out the idea that they have blindly been going about their thing, just not wanting to deal with the problem, but I was asleep. This and this and this happened, but I was asleep. I wish I'd have woken up.
Yeah, I wish I would have woken up.
Oh my God. It was so good. Yeah, it was incredible.
We talked about earlier how, Andy Serkis had his moments, Luthen's had a variety of moments, but this right here, I feel is the standout of the season for, those emotional monologue moments. For me,
over Andy Serkis's?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like we can do a thing next week just on like rating our top monologues from this.
Yeah, to me this was.
Because I loved
this was
it.
the
I
best.
loved it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't know if anything will touch Andy Serkis's.
Well, it's hard when everything's been like more or less great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we do get the wrap up of everything on Ferrix. Cassian returns. He rescues, his friends, so to speak, and we see him at the beginning. He has the manifesto, right? And we were wondering how much that would have came into play. You see it; it was in his little, his hidden locker thing in the hotel room, right? When he's looking through his money and things, you see it open up briefly and start playing, and then he actually is actively listening to it this time around. So, we talked about last week, like what's going to be Cassian's push to be full on, full rebellion, right? People thought like, is someone going to have to die? Is something else going to happen? We kind of speculated probably what happened in the prison is going to be a pretty big enough push, but we see the experience in the prison, the manifesto playing, and then Marv's speech all together. It was everything I think Cassian needed, and to see what they did to Bix, right? Like she's like, her brain is like scrambled.
She's
like when he first sees her.
Yeah.
So then, and I saw this coming. I'm assuming lots of people saw it coming, but when he sees Luthen there earlier, and then when it flips to him not going on the ship, and then you see Luthen going away, Cassian knew where his secret landing spot was. He just knew he was going to be there. So then we basically get, he's all cards on the table and literally all weapons on the table and say, hey, kill me now or else I'm in. So I think that's an appropriate way to end that, because we were kind of thinking last week, like obviously he joins the rebellion. So how do they go from not killing him to accepting him? And it's actually Cassian who makes the move. He essentially gives himself up and says, I'm in this, which I thought was a great way to end season 1. I think that was your like personal journey of Cassian to where he is in the rebellion, and next season is going to be all full on rebellion missions, leading up to the, Rogue One essentially.
Yep. Oh, try not to sneeze, sorry. Woo!
Yeah.
Do not drink the water. I love the fact that Mike is tuning in from the beach right now. Literally tuning in from the beach. Couple things that jumped out at me at the funeral scene. Obviously, as anyone who's watched any of my stuff know, I'm a massive audio guy. The musical score that was written for that funeral procession was so nailed. The tempo, the bass line, the fact that they're playing in the streets. I'm going to go out on a limb. As I said before, they did a lot of incorporated music into this series, where they had the band on scene in Ferrix playing as things were happening. So not just this, but throughout it. And the actors loved it because it was so much easier to really kind of feel the vibe of what they were going for. I can just picture them trying to shoot this shot where people are actually literally playing instruments. I guarantee a lot of those actors, those actors are musicians, and they're playing this as it's happening. I thought the tension that was built during
that's
that,
where I was going to go
panic,
next.
The panic of them coming from all sides and not starting on time.
Exactly. They went
so
early. The Empire's panicking, and then you have the whole he's spying on her, she's spying on him. It's like this whole, you don't know who's watching who, right? And who's making the first move. It was, and then just beautifully mounted tension, building into Marva's speech, which I thought was just tremendous, really. And just other things like the opening shot where she takes her shuttle and lands on Ferrix, and it's nighttime and there's lightning going on, and you see the death troopers get off with her, and there's stormtroopers all on guard everywhere. Like just to take us, like, think about what Ferrix looked like in episode 1 to like that shot there just shows you,
Very
how
Empire.
Exactly, the Empire control and takeover was I just thought it was just a great touches.
Hold on, am I wrong? And I'm sure you're going to get to this, but I'm just not going to be patient. Am I wrong for rooting for Cyril and Deidre in a weird sort of way. Like, I know they're the bad guys. He's
I
got like this
thought,
like weird obsession for her. He saves her life. Like, I know they're the two worst people in this series,
yeah.
but I don't know. It's kind
I
of
thought we were about to get the world's most weirdest awkward kiss. I'm glad they didn't, but the tension was there that I thought, oh man,
yeah,
this could happen. This could happen
like,
right now.
oh
Yeah.
man, it'd be like
So
Darth Vader making out with one of the Inquisitors in like Mandalorian.
So Deidre gets kind of her first taste of the rebellion firsthand, and it does not go well for her.
It does not.
Obviously, her plan goes off the rails. She's caught up in the protests and everything going on. And Cyril does save her, so we'll see more of her next season. I thought the bomber was pretty good setup to base kind of the intro of the episode off her building the bomb. And having that be like
who is that? Do we know?
I don't know. I didn't really recognize her, and I didn't recognize either the person in the hologram. So obviously it was someone she had lost.
Yeah. Who was the voice on the whatchamacallit?
The voice on the what?
Who was the voice talking about the manifesto?
That was the kid. The kid wrote it. Who died, who got squished on the back of the ship, whatever his name was.
Oh,
yeah, that was his.
right.
Yeah, he gave it to Cassian. Yeah, Nemec. There we go. Nemec. Thank you, Abe. Yeah, yes, and I agree. Sam. Marva's was, for me, her speech. This was a standout moment.
But I was asleep.
Yeah.
It just, that one line is going to just resonate however many times. Like, I'm obviously going home and watching this again at home as I watch this on an iPad today. Yes, Sam, I could not agree more. It is absolutely some of the best Star Wars since New Hope. I enjoy the Mandalorian.
Like during that speech, like Son was cutting onions in my kitchen. Like it was like I was just so wrapped up in everything that was going on. You kind of it's great too, because Star Wars has like historically been very pretty aesthetically, right? Here's your laser fights, your lightsabers and stuff like that. They don't really have as many huge standout moments. Like watching that whole lead up there, like I could have cared less. Like there was, nothing Star Warsy going on. You know what I mean? Like I was just so into that moment. And again, it's a credit to the makers of the show. Like the character development, the writing, everything is like insanely well done.
Tony Gilroy it's Tony Gilroy, right? Tony Gilroy? Yeah. Something Gilroy has nailed the ability to create an action sequence with a ton of emotional intensity. And that is something that Star Wars has forever missed. It's been attempted deep dialogue and then pew, 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 pew. He has, and I know I've set it up before, but I'm just going to repeat it again. It nailed the ability to create lack of comfort when it comes to action battle.
Season 2. I feel like
talked about the Gormans, right?
Yeah, if there's ever a show that makes sense to have the Emperor in, it's this show. And like it could even just be like have him in the damn Senate debating Mon Mothma. Like that's his job. You know what I mean? We see him all through the prequels as the dude, in the center moderating everything. Like it's not fan service to even have him in there. The story makes sense for him to be there. So his inclusion, I feel
a Star Destroyer on a protest too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's like, even though it's a big character, it makes a lot of sense to have him somewhat appear somewhere. And I'm sure like Ian McDermott, like, he's always down for that. So speaking of Mon Mothma, we got a little bit with her. So before we go to setting the daughter off, in the car scene with her husband, she obviously deliberately accused them of the gambling and the money stuff so the driver would hear, right? Like that was obviously on purpose. Yeah.
Yep. Which means is Perrin in on it now? Or does he just think he's being attacked?
Yeah, I think she was just I don't think he has any idea. I think she knew their basically toxic relationship. She'd be able to accuse him of something and have him be defensive. And then, it's you already saw it, like when Blevin hears the report, it's almost feeding doubt into him. Well, he has the line of, oh well, she had some suspicious money movement or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's
So
setting it up
you
perfectly.
think she just set? You think she's setting her husband up?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mon Mothma get with Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. I don't
Asking
think,
for a friend. I am. I think you mean am I?
Yeah.
No, Obi-Wan, if the question is, Sincere only had one love of his life, and it was the Queen of Mandalore, whose name is escaping me right now, but you can see
Duchess
it in
Satine,
the Duchess Satine. That you can see it in the Clone Wars animated series, and it's adorable, and it sucks. But it does also explain why he was so quietly understanding of Anakin and of Padme.
And yeah, it is funny that he contributed the parts to the Death Star. Yeah.
Well played, Abe. Well played.
He also contributed to its destruction as well. So, but yeah, it is. They do this. There's some nice, things going on.
There's some
here
poetry
with the
there. Maybe some irony.
Yeah. So then Mon, like, we obviously see her hand off the daughter. She kind of looked happy. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't look like she was dreading the moment. Yeah.
She did, but she's really bought into the whole Chandrilla cult thing.
Yeah.
I mean, custom thing.
Yeah. It's like, I feel bad for Mon Mothma, but I don't really feel bad for the daughter because I feel like she wants it. Like sometimes, you can't help everybody, right? Like, and I'm
the
just thinking, what else?
Seems happy as shit.
Yeah, I thought it was. I'm just trying to think of random other things I liked. I liked when Cassian went to the dad's brick and had that little moment of remembering his father.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a little emotional gut punch to start the episode. Yeah.
Talking about how people need to dig deeper and not just go to the newest and shiniest thing, which I think was very symbolic for how he's been running.
Yeah.
Because his dad talks about, dig deeper, look for something that's in front of you that you can clean. Don't just jump to something because it's easier and it costs you more money. I thought that was super symbolic.
I think this one's for you, Ged.
No, it's a terrible idea. Tyler, you want to take this one?
No, I'm not an impressionist. If I had like 3 Presidentes, I'd be able to.
I'm technically on Heineken now, but
you're right. You're right.
Drinking Heineken.
Oh, there we go. So we did get just random things. We got a Canto Bite shout out for everyone who hates The Last Jedi or loves The Last Jedi. And then, okay. So again, obviously, the way I've been talking, I love the episode, but let's talk about maybe some things that did not quite work or land, if any. You got any criticisms? I have a couple.
Here's everything I didn't like about that episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So these aren't, again, I don't want to say they're criticisms. Maybe they're extreme nitpicks because I'm giving this episode my highest rating. So like, I'll just
really higher than the other.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
then, all right. I'm curious. Go.
Yeah. So again, this is why I'm saying they're nitpicks. I love this episode, but I thought the end of the protest was actually a little underwhelming. It was, if it got to the point where a bomb went off and Imperial soldiers were killed, I figured the Empire would have just steamrolled through everybody. And it was like within a couple minutes, you saw people just casually walking back to their homes, like, oh, no big deal. The parade's over. I thought it was a little odd.
And no one grabs a blaster.
Yeah, exactly. No citizen picked up a blaster either.
Oh, there's a blaster and a wrench. Hold on, let me pick up this wrench and start swinging. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like we got the one stormtrooper on that giant laser blaster just hammering people. I was like, okay, they're gonna like really plow people over, and we're gonna have to get like everyone fighting to like basically liberate the town. And then it just kind of dissipated. Everyone went their ways, which I thought was a little odd. Again, if you want to relate it to like a protest like on Earth, right? Once the tear gas goes out and the crowd kind of gets unruly, it kind of just maybe ends and you apprehend a few people and then you work on that. But maybe that's what they were going for. But I thought with the seriousness, right? Like if you blow up the Empire, I feel like you got to make an example. And I feel they did. And maybe they still will. But I felt like, it was a little, underwhelming.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that your only nitpick?
Then I got one minor one.
All right.
So you ready for this minor one?
All right. I can't wait.
We did
If
get
it has anything to do with chirping that droid, I'm going to reach the screen and fight you. That droid is perfect.
No, I love B.
Yeah.
We see a bit of Death Trooper action, but we don't get the cool Death Trooper radio gargly sound effect. That's it. That's all I got for weaknesses. You know, they have that unique, cool sound. You know what I'm talking about? The Death Troopers.
Yeah.
But they're not speaking English. It's like that weird, I don't know what it is. But you know, not once. Not even when Cassian shot the one in the head. Didn't even get like a scream or anything. That's all.
All right.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I never said there were going to be really serious nitpicks. It was just something I thought that could have. It's an easy thing to add.
All right.
All right. So you got any other final thoughts, or you want to give this a rating?
I guess my final thought is this is the first season of the Star Wars property where you've seen things like themes. We had sacrifice. We had, being asleep at the wheel. We've had these overarching themes, which is something that we've never really seen in a Star Wars property. This is without a doubt, maybe. I don't know if I'd say it's as weird as this is going to sound, I don't know if it's my favorite Star Wars show to come out. I do love The Mandalorian, but I think it's the best written. It's the most brilliantly written and best executed, which is weird because you'd think that your favorite show would also be the best executed, but there's a very big difference between something like a Mandalorian that is a lot more of that pulp culture versus this. And
Mando kind of has that magical fun adventure. You know what I mean? It's fun. Course. It's like lots of crazy characters you love and stuff like that, where this is real down to earth, serious. But like, it's kind of like when you and me were talking about House of the Dragon and Ring of Power. I gave House of the Dragon a far better rating, but I found myself enjoying Ring of Power because, just being in, that world and the characters. Yeah. So I totally understand. I totally understand what you're getting at because you technically, cinematography, direction, everything is top notch.
Absolutely.
Like I'll probably
and I think that they're obviously trying different formulas. They're taking swings, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC. Everyone's trying to diversify, and I applaud whoever it is, whether it's Kathleen Kennedy or whoever does it. People love to dog on when it doesn't go well. You deserve an absolute hat tip for the swing you took on having Tony Gilroy create this. I thought the content was incredible. I thought it was smart. I thought it was tense. It was an absolute pleasure to watch.
Did you like Rings of Power, Emily? That's the big question.
I love Rings of
Power. So one last question for you, Ged, and for the chat. So I can't help it. Like my Twitter feed, it always gets negative Star Wars takes.
Twitter, what is that?
That thing that Elon Musk bought. I don't know why it it's loves sending me the negative parts of Star Wars. Maybe Star Wars Twitter is just mostly toxic to begin with, but I'm still shocked at how much of a conversation there is around that the people who like Andor are just delusional and don't like or know Star Wars. And the fact that Andor doesn't have the Force, doesn't have lightsabers, it's boring as hell, and it's not real Star Wars. And they hate that, they would hate that if any other shows are kind of made similar like that. I'm just paraphrasing, but that's more or less the gist of it. And I don't know, like maybe it's just me, but like, I don't know how people just don't think this is Star Wars. And it's not just Twitter. My neighbor feels the same way. He's like, there's no Force or characters I know, so I'm not interested. But to me, like if you look at just say the original trilogy, aside from Luke becoming a Jedi, the main theme is like the rebellion versus the Empire, hope versus evil. And like,
there's not a lot of Force in it.
Yeah. And those things are in Andor in spades. Like to me, it couldn't be, it is some of the most Star Wars content I've actually seen. Yeah. So, teach their own. I can't tell people what they like or don't like, but I don't get how people could hate on this show. If it's a little boring and slow for you, I get it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to say this as nicely as I can because I don't want to get trolled again by that person on the internet. It's okay if you have a formula you want to see. It's okay if you have if you have a certain way you want to digest your Star Wars content.
Yeah.
But just because it doesn't make up the components that you love, doesn't mean it's bad Star Wars. This is easily the most intelligently written piece of Star Wars property, period. Maybe the only closest one to it is Rogue One. But just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's different. I agree with the comment you just stated. At its core, as much as this is very unlike Star Wars, it is also the most Star Wars at its core, because at its core, it is the idea of a group of people banding together to fight for what they believe in. It doesn't matter if they can lift rocks or swing laser swords or
fly
use a power that makes people do what they want. It's
give a
it's
stirring speech.
That's it. It's about rising up against something that you believe in. So at its core, the irony is, I believe this is
hope versus
the
evil.
most Star Wars since A New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so,
absolutely fantastic.
If anyone has any thoughts in the chat, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. It's okay if you don't agree with us. I promise we're not going to badger or belittle you. But is it a formula thing, or was there something at its core that you couldn't stand behind with this series? I'd be very curious to know.
And the great thing too is you can have Andor be the style and say maybe one or two other shows kind of in the same vein, but then you could also then just flick on the Mandalorian and have your, and get that style of storytelling, right? Like,
absolutely. We're all looking forward to season 3.
Yeah,
no doubt about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Mandalorian season 3 and Ahsoka. Well, oh my God! I think Star Wars will do better the more different kind of styles they have, because then it just doesn't feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe superhero fatigue's finally setting in on Marvel, because everything's kind of, the formula's been the same for a long time. They've tried to go kind of more comedy, whatever you say. I love that. If we could break Star Wars up into kind of these different genres, essentially, I think it's going to be good for the future of Star Wars, right? Keep it healthy, keep it fresh.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's rate it.
Rated. Okay. Yes. You got to get back to your boozing up on vacation. So
that's right.
You go first.
All right. So I will start. I am going to give this a legit 9.0, which I believe is tied for the highest that I've ever given. I don't know. Or did I go 9.1 on the other one? I might have gone 9.1 on the other one.
Yeah, you were 9 on the prison.
Yeah.
On One Way Out, whatever it was called.
That's right. You know what? Then I'll go equal 9.1. I thought this was virtually perfect. I thought the speech from Marva was amazing. I thought the character wrap up. I found myself cheering for Cyril and Deidre, which is ridiculous. The moment at the end where Andor just says, "Kill me or let me in," and gives him the option. No game, no bullshit. Pull the trigger, or I'm in it for the long haul. Like, I loved it. 9.1, phenomenal show, phenomenal series so far.
Yeah, I'm 9.4, so I'm one higher than One Way Out, and I just echoed everything you said. Like, it wraps up Cassian's journey to the rebellion, I thought, perfectly. Right? Yeah. Like, it took a lot for him to be on board, but like, man, like it was, and it was the perfect way for him to join. I thought it couldn't have been written any better. I loved the Marv speech. I loved the tension, the build up. Like, again, it was.
I love the fact he got his money back. He went back to Cancun, got his money back.
It was as close to a perfect episode you can have. Again, you and me rank very hardly. For anyone who hasn't been following us for as long, like, we are very conservative with our grades. So anything in the 9s is outstanding. I still got a little wiggle room there for like some epic stuff, but we're
for the romantic lovemaking scene between Cyril and Deidre. The not awkward one. Yeah,
we are approaching the ceiling though, so it just shows you how good the show has been. All right, buddy. So I will let you get back to your vacation. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And for
everyone who commented, thank you. That's like the best part. I love this. It's fantastic.
Yep. And let us know in the comments what you guys thought. Yeah, next week.
We're not back next week. That's
what? I have an idea. I'll run by you in private on how
All
we
right.
can continue weekly or bi-weekly live streams. I got an idea.
All
So
right.
I'll run that by you, and if it works out, we'll announce that to everybody. And yeah, take
Sounds
care,
good.
everyone, and let us know in the comments what you want to see in season 2 and what you thought of the Andor finale. Peace out.
All right. Cheers.